Hello everyone, the MLG Skylander Man 360 here today, and today we are reacting to Zitz versus Garnet, Battletoads versus Steven Universe. With Zitz, he has been brought onto my channel once, and that was against Leonardo for Death Battle. This is for FCC against Garnet, which this is more of a kind of, for me, this is a if, because yes, both of these characters are leaders to their respectful teams. Zitz, who is the leader of the Battletoads, and Garnet, who is the leader of the Crystal Gems. Now, this for me, it almost feels like it's a 1v2, because yes, Garnet is a fusion of Sapphire and Ruby, which it really comes to a reminder that Sapphire, which is really interesting in this point, these two have an ability to predict the future sometimes, which, to be honest, I'm not surprised on that because of certain abilities of the Crystal Gems. Zitz has the ability to morph his body to weapons of his arson, which is actually kind of impressive, and it was coded in for the Battletoad. Now, the only differences, though, it comes down to which really experience, and I'm going to give that to Garnet, just because the Crystal Gems have been around for 1,000 years. I can't say much with the Battletoads as I haven't played a game, but I only know certain things where, for instance, teens coded the Battletoads, and yes, the Toad is a teen named Zitz, which it is really interesting. But as I said, I haven't gotten to play their game, so I don't know exactly the full context, and I'm probably missing a lot out. But I feel like this matchup is going to be a little more interesting. Just because, from my standpoint, this is leader versus leader on each end. But, with that being said, let us begin the reaction. That's it, hydrated.
Some say a team is only as strong as its weakest link, but for some, it needs a headstrong leader to keep them in check.
And who's better than these two leaders of some of the more interesting trios?
Zitz, the quick-hopping leader of the Battletoads.
And Garnet, the fused newest leader of the Crystal Gems.
He's Demon and I'm Archer.
And it's our job to analyze the characters to their fullest, going through their feats and faults to see what would happen when these two fictional characters collide.
The Battletoads. These mighty amphibious gladiators have punched, rammed, and plowed their way through many of the hardest games in history, all to save the universe.
But before they were the Battletoads, they were just a couple of normal human teens, who, just like his friends Morgan Ziegler, was just trying to fit in with the rest of his peers. So in an attempt to get fame and recognition, he and his friends created the hardest video game in human history, creating a virtual reality beat-em-up simply called the Battletoads, a game where you play as anthropomorphic toads to battle the armies of an evil Dark Queen.
So their way to get friends and fame is to tick everyone off with the video game? Seems like you'll get your butt kicked more for it.
Oh, bah, giving people pain and torture is the best way you can make friends. Ask all the animators in the basement, man.
I'd rather not. However, one day when they hooked themselves up to the game, they were sucked into it and turned into the Battletoads. Something that would happen every time the game was turned on. But it wasn't all bad. Now that they were intergalactic superheroes, they could finally get the fame and recognition they were so desperate for. Taking the lead, Morgan would guide his friends into the victory numerous times, eventually taking brand new names to go with their new forms, with Morgan proudly taking the name Zitz.
So based on that, that's kind of like.
So, Zitz, Pipple, and Rash, huh? While the Ninja Turtles were named after artists, they were named after health issues. Classy.
Well, Damon, don't discredit them too quickly. Unlike the speedy and stealthy ninjas, these toads make up with massive power in their toad-like reflexes. They're crazy fast, can jump far like the animals they're based on, and have crazy long tongues.
But that's nothing compared to their more out there abilities. What they are most iconic for is their more body morphing powers. They can increase their feet into giant boots, make their hands into giant spiked gloves, can morph symbols, can turn their arms into drills, saw blades, even turn their bodies into a giant weight, and for one of them, literally a bathroom sink.
They can also turn into a battering ram, and
Hold the
alongside
bathroom
that, they
sink
have
one.
guns, copter packs, hover bikes, jet packs, and basically anything they can get their hands on. And throughout their adventures, they have hopped into many crazy instances that have showed off their crazy level of power.
Like how they are all scalable to the Dark Queen, who created this vortex while leaving Earth's atmosphere. Based on how fast you need to leave, it's around Mach 11,000, which is for you normals out there, it's easily sub-relativistic speeds.
But this speed is where we get the strength and durability for the Toads, since they are able to damage her and defeat the Dark Queen on multiple occasions and take hits by her vortex. And with a bit of quick math, this feat comes to about a total of 15.7 kilotons of force.
Alongside that, they are pretty damn fast as well. Again, he has that Mach 11 speed feat, but they have also dodged electrical bursts and even lasers. A lot more stuff than you can imagine with these hopping mad toads.
But sadly, the downsides for these guys are very, very stupid. Like, besides having one type of gun they don't usually have, they have no real way of ranged combat, making him and the rest of the Toads pretty close-ranged combat fighters.
And while Zitz is the leader of the team, no one in his team really takes his words to heart. And that's more so a flaw in his team than himself. But in the end, even if his team doesn't listen to him, he will find a way to show evil the power of his mighty Toad Sham Bow.
Oh my god, I know that's a real thing they said, but it still hurts me so much.
Yeah.
We couldn't do this without you. You're the most important member of the team. Just don't tell the others I said that, okay?
Oh my lord.
5,000 years ago, there was 4 beings known as the Diamonds, with the sole purpose to always expand their empire across the galaxy.
Yep.
The youngest being known as Pink Diamond, who was then given a tiny planet known as Earth to colonize, but a small bump in the road happened. And by a small bump, I mean a full-on revolution happened on the planet, being led by one certain Rose Quartz.
The sides seem to be winning until after an assassination of Pink Diamond. The remaining 3 decided that it's time to say fuck you and kind of gem nuke the Earth. Not until leaving only 4 gems left from the aftermath. And something about a human fucking a rock later, and Rose Quartz was gone.
But in her stead, she left one gem in charge of the remains of the crystal gems, or more so 2, the fused brawler herself, Garnet.
Garnet is the newest leader of the Crystal Gems for a good while after Rose well, let's just say she died and leave it at that. But Garnet is no average gem. You see, Garnet is what in this world of Steven Universe is known as a fusion.
A fusion is what I mean, an entity of 2 or more beings becoming one. Let's say 2 rubies fuse and they become a much stronger ruby, and a much larger one as well. But with Garnet, she's a much even more special case.
You see, when 2 different gems fuse together, they make an entirely neat new being not really known about. And that's what Garnet is. While being the fuse of a future-seeing sapphire and a ruby guard, you may think this is weird, but fusions like this gain the benefit of both gem components. Like for starters, Garnet gets these nifty gauntlets, which is, well, she punches people with them. What? They're gauntlets, people.
Didn't even say anything.
Besides that, she can also use them as rocket fists for long-range fighting as well. She also has a way to redirect electricity back at the enemy, and lastly, she's able to tell the future.
Wait, what?
Yeah, well, as you see, as part of a sapphire, Garnet has a third eye which can tell future events and all different possibilities to a situation. Along being a gem, it's safe to say they have basically endless stamina. They don't need to eat, sleep, breathe, and basically anything us normal people need to survive.
Just you wait, Archer. Just like the apes, it's only a matter of time the rock people take over.
Well, not really just rocks, Steven. You see, a gem, which isn't even technically a quote-unquote rock anyway, but whatever, is a being made of light construct which forms around the gem to make a figure.
Okay, now that sounds amazing. Like, I'm a guy who doesn't have a form myself anymore, so I can totally relate to this concept.
Keep forgetting you're just a brain in a jar, and I'm not actually talking to the real you.
You will never talk to the real me.
And we'll see about that.
Oh Jesus.
Oh boy. You need love.
Yeah. See, now that really gets me, because like with Garnet, I kind of remember that.
Alongside all of these things, Garnet has done some amazing feats of strength and speed. Like, would you be surprised, one time while fighting a corrupt gem, she hit it so hard it collapsed to a part of a mountain. To destroy a piece this massive, it takes around 1.7 gigatons of force to do so.
She also has scaling to the gem soldier Jasper, who took the handship explosion right in the center of it. We actually calculated this feat before, and it took a total of 4.3 gigatons to tank it. And Jasper took that all with ease and got back right up after. And Garnet should totally be scalable to this.
But then there is Garnet's speed, which is impressive since at one point she punched freaking lightning. While we've had to discuss lightning a lot on the show, we've reduced that a bolt return stroke is around 220,000 miles per hour. While Garnet was looking at the bolt and needed a fraction of a moment to do so to deflect, we deduced that Garnet must have been moving 440,000 meters a second to do so, which is hitting the massively hypersonic ranges.
And that's not going to her skin to Steven's casual laser dodging either. But sadly, Lee's rock duo does have a few cracks under it.
Which luckily leads to this. The gems on her hands is her major weak point. Cracking them disrupts and bends the light form they make. And shattering them is basically a way of death for gems.
Yeah, so once those puppets are destroyed, Garnet is no more. And taking too much damage on her light body would even have her to proof to just the gems, which leaves them highly defenseless for a large amount of time.
Even then, with those faults, the combined love of Ruby and Sapphire has shown no matter the cost, no matter the challenge, they will beat it together, showing how strong a true bond really is.
Why? Fusion is just a cheap tactic to make weak gems stronger. Quit embarrassing yourselves. I've seen what you really are.
No, you haven't.
Alright, with the characters all analyzed, let's lead the way into this brawl.
Is Zitz going to be on his A game, or is Garnet's victory already set in stone?
I thought we were done with the rock puns.
We're never done with them, Archer. Never.
It's time for these two fictional characters to collide.
Goliath from Gargoyles? Hold up. Dang.
Are you ready? Who will come out on top? Fight!
Dang. Sapphire's like the idea of things to be keeping the do at Congress. While Ruby's probably the more of strength. That's what I was thinking about fusion a little less. Yeah. Dang. Oh boy. Oh! Shoot!
Okay, I'm ready for this episode to end.
I guess Zitz should have kept his head in the game. Eh?
Is that really your best pun?
What, you want me to make jokes about popping Zitz?
Okay, fair enough. This fight was actually a lot harder than you think. Zitz's slightly 0.11 times higher speed over Garnet's 440 millisecond lightning punching feat was impressive enough to help
You
him
know,
move up the
I
card.
kind of
Thanks to
wonder.
his various abilities to change his form and magnitude of gear was so big, he could
You know,
easily
I wish they did
Garnet's
mention about that
over sheer
future
brute force
feat
alone.
where it just
But in the
for
end,
some
he could've
reason
matched Garnet's
Garnet just
overwhelming
predicts a
power and
future
durability.
that's just
Let me
unknown.
explain. Zitz scaling to Dark Queen 15
And it
kiloton
always
vortex
happens.
piece was impressive,
And
but
it's
it's nothing
funny.
compared to Garnet beating up Jasper to do that giant 4.3 gigaton explosion from inside the handship. Meaning Zitz didn't have a surefire way to fully damage the gems.
And thanks to her future vision, she can most likely be able to tell when and what Zitz is going to do next, making the surprise not as impressive as it first seems as well. And being a gem who doesn't really have stamina, she can be fighting for days on end if needed, while Zitz really doesn't have that type of advantage. So really, all Garnet needed to do was wait till Zitz gets tired and land a fatal blow, which is more likely than not.
But Archer, we seem to have forgot a feat. You see, in the crossover game with the Double Dragons, they fought a being who said they can destroy planets. Why didn't we use this with Zitz?
Why, yes, that crossover game feats are highly impressive. They're not backed up by main canon feats, and if he did that for Zitz, it's only fair to do the same with Garnet, which means we would be scaling her fully to Steven's own planetary to even star-level feats, still putting it in her favor.
Okay, fair enough. So while Zitz's light speed edge and overwhelming arsenal can keep Garnet on her toes, he just couldn't keep up with the Garnet's overwhelming strength, durability, and never-ending stamina.
You could say that Zitz totally got rocked.
The winner is Garnet.
Next time on Fictional Characters Collide.
Alright, Travis touchdown. Oh crap. This is one of his more popular matchups. I just can't think of the character. Ooh. Sorry, y'all. I've been having a really dry throat today. So it comes more down to less. I mean, I know the future thing is probably just a joke gag for Garnet, but then again, if it is a real thing that she does again, I would. Oh, Larry, he actually did this? Holy crap! I have to give this one more props too. The fact that he is actually now doing with Death Battle, that I really do like this now. I actually did not know that. That's crazy. Okay, as I get it. Oh my lord, they've been going off 24/7. Jack Heyman. Okay, see, now I wouldn't know. See, I would not know that one. Well, that means I gotta play No More Heroes again. But, yeah. But anyway, guys, if you enjoyed that reaction, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in the next one. Later.